In 2014, my husband AJ and I went on an amazing adventure to the island of Turks and Caicos in the British West Indies. We had such an amazing time that as soon as we got back home, we started planning our return trip in June of 2015. But this time I was super excited that my family was going to get to come along this time. So in March of 2015, we planned an amazing trip and we were all super excited. It was going to be me, my husband AJ, my mother Liz, my favorite aunt May, my favorite cousin Thomas, and Thomas's wife Bette. We were all going to embark on this, well, for us known, but for them the unknown. And we were super excited for it to be a family vacation. So the one of the adventures that we wanted to do and that I had experienced the last time was parasailing. I talked this parasailing trip up. It was, for me, it was an amazing adventure. I was not scared and it was so peaceful up there. So of course, my adrenaline junkie cousin, Thomas, he wanted to try it as well. My husband, who was recovering from surgery, he knew that he couldn't do it, so that was out. My mom, cousin, and my aunt, totally out. Not happening. But they did, however, agree to go on the boat. So as the day approached, we walked out on the beautiful beaches of Grace Bay. Into the sun, it was just beautiful. The sky, it was a little dark, and it was slightly windy, maybe about 16 miles per hour. But we were still determined that today was going to be the day that we were going to parasail. So as we're walking to the boat, we were greeted by Kino, who we later found out was the first mate. Now, Kino had the best personality ever. He was so hospitable, and he just welcomed us with open arms. I honestly think he was the nicest person probably on that island. We were also slightly greeted by the ship's captain, and his name is Miguel. Miguel really was very standoffish and most of the time was spent on his cell phone. He really didn't pay us much attention at all. So he left it to Kino to give us the paperwork that was going to sign our life away, to get us fitted with our harnesses, as well as to give us instruction on what we were going to be doing. My cousin, who's typically an adrenaline junkie, he looked a little petrified. But of course, once again, I warned him, you'll be perfectly fine. Look, I'm still here from the last time. You know, what could happen? So as we prepare, by going to the back of the boat where we're going to be lifted up into the air on a parasail, my cousin, I look over at him and he looks petrified. So of course, I have to talk him down off the ledge again. And we decide that we're going to have, this is it. We're excited. We're going for this. So Kino tells us, put your legs out, and this is how you're going to go up in the air. Make sure your legs stay out and away from the boat. We do that. We get up in the air. It's an amazing, amazing view. Beautiful beaches, clear blue water. Everything's just perfect. And as we're going along, you know, I'm looking down. I'm taking recording camera footage of the boat itself. And I notice once again, Miguel's on his phone, driving the boat, barely paying any attention. We see Kino, and he's engaged with everyone, and he's looking up at us, paying attention to us. But my cousin and I are still having an amazing time. So, you know, we're not thinking anything of it. And then I notice we start going towards the water. And I'm looking down, and I've heard of people getting dipped in the water, but it didn't happen to me last time, so hey. So we're drifting towards the water, and all of a sudden we literally jerk up in the air. And, you know, I'm a little startled, but I'm not going to show my cousin that I'm fearful. So I just kind of look over at him, and he's looking like, what the heck happened? So I look down, and of course, you know who's on the you know what. And, you know, I'm noticing he's not paying attention. So eventually we're starting to expire. 15-minute time is expiring. So we head back. We're heading in, and Kino's reeling us in, and all of a sudden we're going back down towards the water. But this time I'm noticing we are almost this close, and we're a little excited because we're thinking we're going to get dunked and then we'll come back up. But as we're getting closer to the water, we're actually going into the water, and that's not supposed to happen. And we jerk back up again. And so, but this time we're getting closer to the boat, and so I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? And I'm looking, and Miguel is kind of on this phone, driving the boat, leaving it all up to Kino. So as we're coming in, everyone on the boat's yelling, put your legs up, put your legs up. My cousin and I are laughing and ha 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 and having the time of our life, honestly, still. And at that moment, we go to the right and the boat goes to the left, just kind of abruptly. And I'm shocked, but I'm still laughing. And before I know it, I slam into the back of the boat. My cousin's fine, but I slam leg first into the back of the boat. I'm a little embarrassed, but I look down and my leg has swollen. It's totally swollen. And then the next thing I know, I look a little further and it's blood gushing down my leg. I feel like I'm going to pass out. All I see is blood. I see my leg, and I instantly know that I'm not going to be able to stand on this leg. I'm not. It's clearly got to be broken. So they're telling me to scoot back towards them so that they can help me off of the landing. And as I scoot back, I just said, okay, I'm going to try to stand up. Because again, I'm honestly embarrassed that I just slammed into the back of this boat. So I stand up, and thank God my leg is not broken. You would think that the ship's captain would stop the boat instantly and come over there. He did not. He's still kind of, what's going on? What happened? I have to get off of my phone. So I'm sitting here bleeding, almost passing out, and they're trying to take the blood off of the area that's starting to swell even more to relieve that pressure. And, you know, the boat captain, he stops the boat eventually, and he comes over and he's, you know, seeing, okay, what's going on? There's blood on my boat now. So he just very, very laissez-faire, doesn't care what's going on with me, just thinking about getting us back to the sideline so we can get these crazy people off his boat. So eventually we do make it back to shore, and I'm getting off the boat. My husband helps me off. Kino's very apologetic and just giving me recommendations and telling me if I need anything to call him. And the boat captain says nothing except for that'll be $85. That was it. That was it. So I'm very, very discouraged because to me, all I wanted to do was to be in the water for this trip. And so that's what I expected to do. I sat in my room for the next day because I thought, you know, if I got into the water that I catch some kind of infection that may cause my leg to be amputated. I don't know. You don't know about these things. So my husband eventually told me, let's go to the doctor. We have to find out what's going on with your leg. Make sure nothing major is going on. So the next day I do go to the doctor, and of course I'm a little bit dramatic, so I asked the doctor to please just break it to me. Let me know. Is my trip over? Should I plan a flight home? After all, I have 8 days left on this trip. I can't sit in the room. That defeats the whole purpose. So he takes a look at it. He says, I have something to tell you. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is it. And he says, I have something that I can put on your leg. It's an artificial skin. Wrap you on up. You'll be good to go. Your trip is not canceled. Everything will be fine. So in the end, although Miguel was very negligent, we were still able to have an amazing trip, and it was just the trip of a lifetime. Now, will I ever go parasailing again? Never. I'm done with that. But I love Turks and Caicos, and I'll return again this coming summer in 2016.